Done. Thank you very much, Chris, for inviting me down. I'm here because Chris has a long pedigree. He's a machine. If I could entice him back to Auckland after winning on Saturday, I will. So I just wanted to express that sentiment this evening. I just want to bring our candidates up now if they could come and take their seats. In no particular order of priority, but there's Andrew King, Angela, Paula, James and Mike. Just come up and take your seats. I'd be grateful for that. Just as they come up, I just want to commend anyone that stands for public office. They put their selves out there individually. They put their spouses, partners, we used to call them husbands and wives. We put them all out there, and we also put our children, our grandchildren, our acquaintances and our friends. And so, without pushing this any further, I just wanted you to honour somebody that stood above the parapet to have a go at representing their communities. And so you've got 5 outstanding individuals up here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you could just give them an applause before we start. Another reason why I am here is one of these mayors is going to work very closely with me after Saturday. This isn't wishful thinking. For old Goffey, the polls aren't good. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Hamilton and its proximity to Auckland. It's called connectivity. And can I give you just some metrics to get your head around? Hamilton is it averages unusually around 10% of what Auckland is, around 10%. It's about 180,000 people, we're around 1.8 million. We're the 4th largest geographic city in the world. We are the total population of the South Island, plus 50%. We are 38% of the population. That depends on the integrity and credibility of the 2018 census. But we're plumbing around those sorts of numbers. So I don't come to Hamilton to berate you over this. I come because you're an extraordinarily important partner in a socio-economic sense. Okay? So in the next 10, what our colleagues up here are about is not about the next 3 years, but the next 30. And we have to future-proof our cities, and we have to future-proof what we're doing as people, and to do that we have to connect with one another. Ultimately, Tauranga will be the southern port for Auckland, and Northport will be the northern port, and that will happen over the next 25 years when infrastructure connectivity meets. How does Hamilton position itself for that significant growth capacity and capability? Right now today, if you were to draw a line from Hamilton across the Tauranga and across to the west coast going north, we're around about 65 to 70% of GDP. It is a significant leveraged position that you need leadership on. Auckland requires to have a say in 93 cents in the dollars of taxes going to Wellington for redistribution, but without our say. The new mayor of your city is going to have greater say in the contribution you make to Wellington. And so these are unusual times, but they're great times. When you look at your local government, the day you think about your local government is the day you wake up to turn your shower on, the day you push the cistern on your toilet system, the day you drive out onto your roads. Local government in the next 20 years will become more important than central government as devolution must occur. Digitisation brings devolution, and the new narrative for the new New Zealand will be driven out of the likes of the Hamiltons of this world, as much as the Taurangas. And Auckland grows by a Tauranga every 3 years. And so it's a massive pot of requirement to do business in the south and in its north. And we have to connect together to make that work a lot better. So ladies and gentlemen, I suspect that's one of the reasons why Chris purloined me to come down to have a chat. It's about looking at the big picture and connectivity thereafter. So with those opening statements, here's some house rules. If by any chance an alarm goes off, apparently whoever runs fastest out that way, you should follow them. I don't really know where the conveniences are because this is my first time at the atrium, but I'm sure you'll find them, but they're down the back? Okay, thank you. They're down the back somewhere. Anyway, now that we've got the health and safety, because it's very important if you're a mayor to know all the health and safety stuff. So you just had it, right? Those of you that might want to smoke, you have to save it for later. So let's open now with some rules. Firstly, we're going to hear from the candidates, unadulterated, and a 3-minute pitch for your vote. Then what's going to happen is that there have been 4 prepared questions. I'm advised that they've all been given them. Following those questions, I'd like you to foment some in your own minds. And if you're desirous of putting those questions, you are welcome when we have this opened up for debate. And I look forward to those questions. I don't look forward to political statements. There is a difference. I'll tell you in the event that you sort of skew the lines. Now, we will then end with a final pitch on 2 minutes each from the 5. There are 5 candidates only up here, ladies and gentlemen. In Auckland, there are 21 candidates standing for mayor. There's only 2 with a shot. But I'm too respectful to suggest the same here in Hamilton, because I don't know as much about Yorkwood. So you've got 5 wonderful looking people up here. One, the sitting mayor, the incumbent, that comes with some largesse and grace. You've got some outstanding people that have given a great commitment to their communities here as well, from Paula as well as others. So without further ado, I'm just going to invite Andrew to open the opening statement for 3 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew King. I want to start by acknowledging the Creator, and secondly, my wife who's here, who's ever supportive of everything I do. And thank you so much, Anne, and also my son who's sitting next to my wife. Just want to explain, I might be the mayor of the city at the moment, but I'm like a conductor, and I have an orchestra who has supported me through the last 3 years. We have had a largely supportive and united council, and we have achieved a lot by a majority supporting where I wanted to go. I'm about action, not politics. I'm a businessman. It's easy to hold rates down. You just don't fix the city, and rates stay down. And that's the city that this council inherited. We had Waterworld that needed $11 million spending on it. We had the Founders Theatre broken, hadn't had money spent on it over a long time, which was shut because of the fly tower, not because of earthquake raising. We had footpaths with 28,000 faults in them because we cut our budget on fixing our footpaths and never reinstated it once things came good again. We had pipes that hadn't had the money spent on them to keep them up. And it's no different from your household and your home. If you don't paint the roof, you're going to get a hole eventually. If you don't fix the hole, it's going to go through into the ceiling, it's going to go through into the carpet, it's going to go through the floor. It's going to cost you a lot more, and sooner or later you're going to have to pick up and fix it. And I'm delighted to say that that's what this council did. We made some very hard decisions, and we have fixed the city, and we are in the process of fixing the city, and we now have very strong finances. We've opened up, working on opening up a new subdivision in the northeast, and we did that by building a relationship with central government and getting $250 million from the central government for this city, for Peacock and the train to Auckland that doesn't have to be paid back. We've got smarter transport choices. We've got the train coming to Auckland, we've got free buses that we're already paying for the bus, we're already paying for the driver, we're already paying for the fuel. Let's get people on them. We're upgrading our community assets. We promised the library in our northeast city for 20 years, and we're doing that now. There's also a social side to running the city. We're fighting to stop more poker machines coming to Sky City. We're lobbying for a drug addiction court, and we've set up a land trust for those who can't afford to buy their own property but who are working. So I'm about strong families and strong finances. Grow Hamilton, love Hamilton. Thank you.
Angela.
Hi everyone. Look, you've got a very important decision to make, and that's to choose our next leader. How you filter through the political rhetoric that you may hear tonight, how you figure out who's here for the right reasons and who isn't, and how you figure out what you're actually going to get. Well, here's what you're going to get if you elect me on Saturday. A mayor with real vision for the future, and a mayor who genuinely cares for every person in our city. Someone with experience that matters the most, Hamilton City experience. I've been in the arena and I know what it takes to do the best job for you. I'm a mayor, or will be a mayor, who cares about the people. And sometimes it's one person at a time. I was thinking today, I remember some years ago a woman called Chrissy Atkinson, a mum in Melbourne with 3 children, who had her home burgled and ransacked, and Hamilton Police said it was the worst they had seen in a decade. So I spent about 2 weeks collecting money and gifts for Candy Atkinson and her kids from the people of Hamilton, because we wanted to show that we cared. I can also tackle the big issues, and I led the development of a policy that closed all of our synthetic cannabis stores in this city overnight. Under my leadership, we were the first city in New Zealand to do this. And when the going gets tough, I don't hide away until the dust settles. I have never said to our media, no comment. I stand up and I speak up, because that's the responsibility that comes with leadership. With me, you'll get a mayor who has ideas to bring to the table, and I will lead a council with the best ideas get discussed and supported, and where inclusion and openness triumph over secrecy and personal agendas. Some of my ideas have been repeated by other candidates through the campaign, and while that's flattering, I question what ideas did they bring. And I'm not afraid of hard work. You know, I've had the most incredible support through my campaign from the members of the O'Leary Army. Friends, family and new people who have come and joined my team, because they've said I've inspired them, and certainly in turn that they have inspired me. One of them asked me the other day, what's the first thing you'll do if you become mayor? Will you take a break? And honestly, that had never occurred to me. If I'm elected as mayor on Saturday, I'll turn up to work on Monday. Thank you.
Who was next, and just change the mic and that little thing.
Thank you everyone for coming out this evening. It's been a very long campaign and there have been well over 20 campaign meetings. My vision is to see Hamilton and the wider Waikato thrive. Hamilton is a huge location advantage with key transport routes, links to port, strong access to natural resources. We are ideally placed to be developed further as an economic hub of New Zealand, as a great place to live, work and play. As I have said before, all 3 aspects are important, because to retain the talent, to attract and retain the talent we need to have a good city to live in. Employment, income, access to education, housing, transport and natural resources will all determine the quality of our life in and beyond our city. Competitive and thriving cities attract dynamic movers and shakers, innovators and entrepreneurs. So a huge shout out to SODA, Innovation Park, the Chamber, Te Waka Regional Economic Development Forum and many others. Fabulous cities appeal to people because they offer a high quality of life, effective transport, good education, good leisure, good recreation, thriving arts communities. It is not only about employment and productivity, it's about the whole package. We're complex, and many factors can constrain or enable good business growth. Council cannot or should not control everything. We need an engaged development and business community. We need the wider community on board with all that we do, and I will make this happen. Councils create the blueprint for the city. They provide the direction and certainty. Councils provide core infrastructure. Councils provide good service to the community at large, including business, and must make it easy for business to do business. Streamlining consent through things such as automation and standardised processes, for example. But strong quality for future requires a council that collaborates and partners with others to form a strong economic development. We must make it clear we're open for business, and I will champion for that. I played a key role in the earlier establishment of Waikato means business, and alongside other regional mayors, I brokered for a regional economic development agency. And I'm pleased to say that happened, and since then Te Waka has gone from strength to strength and put the region on the map and done the work to focus on priorities. But I am committed to working alongside the business movers and shakers, Te Waka and others, the Chamber, to understand what we need and to attract investment, tourism and talent to our special part of the world. And we need to have regular business forums. It is all councillors, not just the mayor, that set the direction, and I will bring us together this weekend.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm James Casson. I'm standing for Mayor and East Ward. Look, I'm a first-term city councillor, so I was elected in 2016. And, we have some beautiful things, there's some world-class things in Hamilton here. We have FMG Stadium, we have Seddon Park, we have our Hamilton Gardens, we also have the Quarters Event Centre, some really good stuff here in Hamilton. Unfortunately, Mayor Andrew is right. When we walked in 2016, we came into a storm of problems. 28,000 faults in our footpaths, Founders Theatre falling down, all sorts of other things. Our roading system's not up to standard and actually causing deaths on the roads. So we have been working on that, and we should never be in the position in 2016 where we had to hike the rates to 9.7% just to catch up on what we should have been doing way before 2016. And that's the reason why we had the 9.7. We should never be in that position to do it in the first place. Controlling council, like the mayor is right, the mayor is the figurehead, and you've got 12 councillors that work for you. Sometimes it's like herding cats, and I'm pretty sure that's probably how it's been in the last 3 years with Andrew trying to herd cats for us. But look, I've got some experiences under my belt as well in leading people. In 2008, I led the New Zealand deployment in East Timor, and that involved working with 40 different nations. Now, if you've ever worked with the United Nations, I can tell you it is one lumbering beast that is very hard to control, and it's very hard to get anything done. But get things done we did as a New Zealand contingent. So I'm very proud of that. During my 3 years on council, I've been very passionate about community safety initiatives, as I was when I was in the police for 25 years in New Zealand. Community initiatives. And so far we've fixed 23 kilometres worth of footpaths in Hamilton. That's one issue we've got sorted. We've sorted out the Gordon to Thomas Road intersection that I can't say caused, but attributed to 2 lives being taken. We have fixed that. We have fixed a lot of other things. We have got the lights going at Seddon Park now. There are all sorts of things that we have to get going, and community safety initiatives are part of it. Now, working with the police, Hamilton has its own crime problems. We're like any other city in New Zealand. Not quite as bad as Auckland, John, but getting there. We have some crime problems here. And we do have a very strong working relationship with the New Zealand police here in Hamilton. And we also are they're the only city in New Zealand that has CitySafe. So I was very proud to work with Angela on getting CitySafe running here. You want to see them with their yellow glow coats on. They do a fantastic job in our city, getting eyes and ears to police. So I want to continue on that path with community safety initiatives, because for us to be a thriving, successful community, you have to feel safe in your homes and you have to feel safe walking the street and going about your business. So I would very much appreciate it if you vote Captain.
Only you. Good evening, I'm Mike West. Council spending is growing faster than our ability to pay for it. That's the message I've been trying to get across through my entire campaign. I'm not seeking the mayoralty or a seat on council so I can fulfil a lifetime dream. What I do want to do though, is I want to challenge council spending, and I want a chance to fight the epidemic of rising rates. It's fair to say I'm a bit disappointed that I polled behind my fellow candidates here. And to be honest, I think they're partly to blame for the spending culture that exists in council at the moment. They've had their chance to address it, but they haven't. It's disappointing because back in 2017, a local government survey highlighted two concerns: poor value for rates dollars spent, and a lack of trust in councils to make good spending decisions. And that's what I've been talking about. So why, as voters, are we not wanting to get the message across? Have we had enough or haven't we? I haven't really heard or seen much during this campaign from the top polling candidates to suggest that they have the answers, or they are seriously thinking about ways to put the brakes on spending. Here are some examples of poor value for money programs that should be addressed. 2 hours free CBD parking while still maintaining a full strength parking enforcement department, costing us $2 million a year. Eyesight, a service that is virtually redundant due to the internet, is costing between $800,000 and $900,000 a year. The remission of CBD development contributions is costing around $1 million a year. And the Community Housing Trust, which will buy land for at best 6 to 8 houses, it's going to cost $2 million over the next 2 years. And some other examples of poor spending: the Hamilton-Auckland commuter rail service, the Smart Hub in Garden Place, and the modifications to Claudelands Bridge. Believe me if you like. I say enough is enough. And if you agree with me, I will give you a chance to be heard. I've remained steadfast in my message. Council spending simply cannot continue growing year on year as it currently is. If you're not sure who to vote for, then think about what to vote for. Vote for change and vote for respect. If you truly want to object to excessive rate rises, if you truly want to tell council to give us better value for money, you've got to express that wish. You've got to vote for candidates like me who will challenge council to eliminate low value spending. You've got to vote for candidates like me who respect ratepayers. You've got to vote for candidates like me who will actually stand up and fight for ratepayers. Thank you for your time. I'm Mike West.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could come up to the lecterns, because we're now going to get into the formal part of the debate, because you had a nice run to say how pretty you all were. So what we're going to do is ask a question. We will go in the reverse cycle from those that open the speaking, because we'll start with you, Mike. The first question is, Hamilton's productivity is going backward. It's currently minus 0.2%. What will you do to drive Hamilton's advantage for business and reduce compliance costs? Now, before Mike ponders that, other colleagues up and down the debate will have a right to express either opposition or support. Okay? And so it's not a free-for-all, but what it is this is a debate, ladies and gentlemen, and you've got to have in a fierce fight-off for leadership in any great democracy, a bit of robust conversation. It's too genteel in other places. It's just a dogfight up in Auckland, but we don't need that here. So I'm just suggesting to you that if you take a great effrontery to a comment made by a colleague here, you're welcome to make a comment or a statement if you so desire. I appreciate you're quite genteel people, but that is open to you on the basis of my ability to NC. So, Mike, if you could express your answer to that question first, and we'll work our way down.
You may interrupt.
You can, whatever tickles your fancy, okay? Because ultimately, the folk out there will be the judge, okay? And sometimes when people do interject, it's seen as rude, and other times it's seen as actually very good. Thank you. Over to you, though.
Okay, yeah, thank you, John. Look, I know that I'm going to sound like I'm harping on all the time about the same thing, but if council wants to support business, it needs to find ways to be more effective and more efficient itself. I'll explain that. It is, and it has been, sucking a larger and larger percentage of the resources from our community. You absolutely know this because the rates council is collecting are increasing by a margin that's greater than CPI and GDP. Council, by its very nature, is one of the least productive players in our community. And if it continues to take a greater and greater percentage of our community's resources, then it will surely hinder any growth and productivity. It's also time as council, councillors and council executive have the decency to acknowledge that council is far from the best at spending our money efficiently and makes a genuine effort to reduce its clumsy, heavy-handed regulation. Nothing will change. If we can shift council to a culture of not spending money until an objective analysis has shown that the benefits will outweigh the costs, and if we ensure that council listens to the private sector, embracing and supporting their innovative and progressive approach with light-handed regulation, then the business community might see some improvements.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, everyone gets 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to answer this question. So it's free for all thereafter. We've got a few, because we've got a time limit in between to allow a bit of debate. Okay, sorry, Angela.
That's all right, you don't need to apologise. Look, productivity, first of all, we're a victim actually of our own success right now because fast growth is a hindrance to productivity because often businesses aren't set up and can't keep up. But what can council do was the question? Well, for productivity to increase, good policy simply needs to exist. And the current development contributions policy isn't quite good enough because non-residential consents have plummeted by 8% in this last quarter. So we need to make sure policy is right. But what would I do? Well, we need a business strategy actually for to drive Hamilton's advantage for business and to increase productivity. This strategy would need to work with business, small and large actually, to identify the barriers that are out there and find ways to improve them. Because if we can remove barriers for business, we remove cost, and if we can remove cost, we can increase productivity. A couple of the other ideas I want to run past you are a one-stop shop. Some of the businesses here might remember our Jason Cargo. He was the one-stop shop for some business. I think bring Jason back. A lot of our processes should and could be done online and could be automated. So those are a couple of the ideas. Look, I understand it's costly for business. I understand that it's difficult to work with council. So I will work really hard to remove those barriers so businesses can be more productive and can grow.
In the Inframetrics Quarterly Economic Monitor Report for Hamilton City, for the quarter to June 2019, the GDP for Hamilton was up 2.6%. The residential consents for the year were up 35.8%, and the guest nights were up 5.9%. So Hamilton's absolutely pumping. There's no secret that I wanted a full review of the district plan, the rule book, to enable growth. Costs hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for the city and developers and people who are trying to stop development fighting each other, asking for reports, and the district plan could be a lot more enabling. I will be bringing this back to the next council to try and get this through again, which got voted down last time. We did have a regulatory and efficiency program which has made a number of very good recommendations, but it doesn't go far enough. I believe the current rule book is inhibiting growth, and that's why we need to start by throwing that rule book out and starting again.
Thank you, Andrew's right. July's business economy report shows some actually good trends. Visitor nights are up, electronic spending is up, and that's all good. But you're right, we can do better, and we have to do better given our huge growth. And here's what I'd like to do. I want to make it easy for businesses to get started here by streamlining consents and other application processes. by front-ending support, especially for small business. This includes significantly more automation of processes, which right now are sometimes quite cumbersome. Just because we're council doesn't mean we need to act like one. For some time, I've been asking for us to be more proactive in seeking out and supporting new opportunities, such as relocating some government head offices to Hamilton. I'm quite pleased about the Rabobank. These are the sort of conversations I've been having in Wellington for some time, and we need to put a rocket under these. I'd love to see us shoulder tapping emerging growing businesses, encouraging them to come here. And let me be clear, I've been calling for some time for Hamilton to be the centre of vocational excellence. That's something I actively want to pursue. And I want to reiterate something that the Chamber has always said. The City Council cannot go it alone. We must work with partners, the Chamber, the Hamilton Central Business Association, TUWOCA, to align our efforts to focus and present a united pro-Hamilton front here and further afield.
Thank you. Yes, look, our district plan is cumbersome. I actually agree with that with Andrew. But we have taken some steps there, but we do have to tweak a bit more. We've got the REAP going now, which is the Regulatory Efficiency Effectiveness Program. It's a step in the right direction, but it's not far enough. Small business actually make up 97% of all businesses in Hamilton and employ 28% of all employees. It's reflected right around New Zealand. There's a lot more we can do with small business, and there's a lot more we can do in that district plan to make it easier. Working with our neighbours, our neighbouring councils, look, we are not delivering on industrial land in Hamilton. There's one thing we are not delivering on, because we are virtually at our borders now. We're getting there, and we haven't got a lot of industrial land. But recently, 57 hectares of industrial land opened up in the Hautapu area. So, working with them, any big business or business that works in there or opens up in Hautapu is going to be good for Hamilton, because a lot of the people that work in those places are going to be from Hamilton. They're going to spend in Hamilton. They're going to live in Hamilton. So that's one thing we do have to work with. What is good for Hamilton is good for Waikato, and what is good for Waikato is good for Hamilton. We are a logistics hub. We will have very shortly 3 large inland ports operating in Hamilton, and they're all on railway links. We're in the Golden Triangle. We are in the perfect position to attract business to this area. We are thriving, and we wouldn't mind getting a few more businesses. We'll rob a few from Auckland. Thanks, John.
We're getting into a doozy right now. You people are so loving. The question 2, and all candidates have these questions before them, but anyway, question 2, and if we could sort of start, perhaps with you, Angela, and sort of work our way around back this way. Question 2 is, Auckland is a super city. See, most of the people around here will want to sort of poke their eyes out from me even saying that. I didn't write this question. Auckland is a super city. We have 11 councils and a regional council that is duplicating resources. Will you push for amalgamation, and what might that look like if you do?
Yeah, thanks, John. Look, it's a simple question, simple answer. I won't push for amalgamation. Look, it hasn't worked for the people of Auckland. It hasn't worked for the people, and it's left people behind. I know this because I have lots and lots of friends who are elected onto Auckland local boards. So we miss out on the local and localism when that happens. Local boards in Auckland have tiny, insignificant budgets and simply at the mercy of Auckland councillors. So I say again, people get left behind. What I am interested in and what I will push is cross-boundary agreements. And we've started a lot of those conversations. I know that there's the mayoral forum, and I would be very keen to be elected as mayor and to be on that and to push these opportunities. One of the ideas that I talked about at the Property Council debate was having a one Waikato district plan. Now, you've heard a couple of the candidates say we need to throw the city rule book out, but I caution that. That city rule book cost $7 million in 7 years. So there are opportunities there, but no, I'm definitely not interested in being Big Brother and taking over the regions around us. We are a metro city. We have such unique challenges and opportunities here, and by spreading our wings and taking over the region, we would not be successful.
Just a point, I myself have never suggested throwing Hamilton's rule book out, so I'm not...
No, I said other candidates, I didn't say you,
No,
Paula.
I'm just making a view.
I want to tweet.
You want to what? Oh, yeah, oh, tweak it? No, and yes.
$7 million to have a new district plan when it's costing the city $100 million a year plus in productivity is a very small price to pay. We need an enabling district plan and we haven't got it. Consents aren't being processed in the mandatory 30 days, and that's because the rule book is so severe that I'm not saying that people don't get a say, I'm just saying that that rule book does need rewriting.
You were up there, Andrew, okay?
Okay, so the answer is yes. I do think that we need to talk about amalgamation. I find it incredibly frustrating that we have the highest density of residents in New Zealand. We have 1,500 people live in every square kilometre. Auckland has 1,000, and third place is Wellington at 800. We have nowhere to go. We only have 30 years supply left. We should be planning our city for 100 years, and because we can't, we're getting perverse outcomes because we're squeezing things in where we shouldn't. We've been trying to talk to our two neighbours over about a 5-year period, and it cost over $1 million to combine with them on waters. In the end, both of them walked away. It's a ridiculous situation. We need to plan Hamilton for 100 years. It's incredibly frustrating when both our neighbours are stealing businesses that should have come to Hamilton because we just do not have the land to go there. They can just rezone their farms as much as they want as industrial land. We don't even have land to do that. It's incredibly frustrating. If the neighbours aren't going to work with us, then we need a brave government who introduces amalgamation.
Let me be absolutely clear. Hamilton doesn't get to decide that it wants to be a super city and gobble up all the other councils. That's just not how it works. I know this because I have conversations with our neighbours, and I've worked very closely with our neighbours as chair of regional council. So we need to be realistic about what we can actually focus on and the things that we can achieve. I think this is important. I think being more efficient and talking about the way we work together and being more effective about the way we work together is what we should be focused on. So no, I won't be supporting amalgamation in the way that some people picture it, because other councils simply will not accept that. But I agree with the Chamber of Commerce. We should be actively pushing to be more efficient. And if those discussions make people feel a little bit uncomfortable, that's tough. For example, I agree with Andrew. We walked away from millions of dollars of savings because Waipa District rejected the shared waters management model, and that's not good enough. It should never have happened like that. I will be supporting stronger working relationships with our neighbouring councils, but you can't lecture them into it, you can't pressure them into it. I'll be supporting working alongside key businesses and maximising talents and resources, building on our relationships with government to make sure Hamilton gets its best deal and the biggest share of government support that it can, and that is one of my strengths. Thank you.
So just to be really clear, Hamilton City Council or the Chamber of Commerce or anyone else, any other group, can go to the Local Government Commission and ask for talks to begin on amalgamation. This is not the best way that this would happen is that central government came in and started that process, but anybody can start that process.
Yeah, but the reality is, Andrew, that when I started on council 12 years ago, we were talking about amalgamation and also the threat of central government coming in and doing it to us. It's simply not going to happen. The people of the city are the ones that should have a say, and they say no.
I also believe that petty politics needs to come out of this discussion. The reason we didn't get a shared water model came down to the politics of it, not the rationale or the business case of it. Now we need to set things up with a sound business case. And then we need to work very closely with our neighbours, because you can't bully and cajole other councils into doing the right thing. You need to make them see the business sense in that.
Very, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, in Tradescale, Michelle.
Oh, good one, thank you. Well, look, initially I was actually looking at, I was in favour of a super city or a super Waikato. But, you know, I've been looking for a little bit further. Now, Auckland has one mayor and 20 councillors that look after around about 1.695 million people. In the Waikato, we have 10 mayors, in the Super Waikato, 10 mayors and 109 councillors that look after 464,000 people, round about. So are we getting good value for our dollar? That's for you to answer. But look, we have a huge geographic area in the Waikato, and each area and each little town we expect to be represented. They won't want someone from Hamilton representing them in I don't know, Te Aomuru, or in Waipa, or in one of the little towns, Oklahoma. They won't want somebody from Hamilton running them. So look, I'm not going to try and force other Waikato councils to come into an amalgamation with us, but hard decisions do have to be made, because there is only so much money to go around, so many dollars, ratepayer dollars, and we can make a range of items. We can work on a range of items, and one of them is the waters, and I think there are better ways to go about it working with Waipa and District on our water and sharing the water. We can save a lot of money for ratepayers there, so I'm for a positive working relationship with our key other councils around the Waikato, but not forcing them.
And John, may I say that I've had conversations with the Minister of Local Government and Naya Mahuta, where a business case is quite clear that it would be more efficient and cost-effective to operate at a certain scale of economy. We should have to do that. There should be no walking away from things that are more efficient and save the ratepayers money.
Could Hamilton City Council have a copy of that report?
These are conversations they do, like you said. No, I said I had conversations.
You said it was a case study.
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, wonderful.
Thanks. I've always considered local to be the key to local government. As the council is to its community, the less likely councillors live in a bubble. I much prefer collaboration over amalgamation. Local authorities need to talk and collaborate over the development of regional facilities, whether they be major road projects, water treatment solutions, sporting facilities and the like. New Zealand local government is currently in an epidemic of overcapitalisation. A great example is local authorities fighting to each other to have an international level rugby stadium, cricket oval, event centre, performing arts centre, museum, tourist attractions and an airport. Local authorities need to put aside their parochial instincts and accept that the generally low population densities we have in New Zealand simply don't allow for economical development of many of these major facilities. Facilities all over the country are grossly underused and are simply bleeding ratepayers dry. In Hamilton, we all know the massive amounts required to fund the losses on Claudeland's FMG Stadium in Seddon Park, $14.5 million last year of ratepayers' money. Local authorities need to prove that they can be responsible custodians of other people's money and work with their neighbours to do so. We shouldn't try to compete with each other by draining the bank accounts of our ratepayers. There is a desperate need for local authorities to collaborate with their neighbours and come to an efficient, economic, rational spread of various facilities and services.
We're on to the third question. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the opportunity to frame a fourth. I'll be giving that over to the audience soon. If you could get your minds around a few questions. Of course, there are individuals here that are here to support individual candidates, and I suspect what happens in Auckland is that there's a certain mob arrives and they give a certain question to a certain candidate to cause some difficulty. That is cool. That's democracy, and so we accept that. And so get your questions ready. The third question been offered, and Andrew, you can start off, given you're sort of the pig in the middle. How will you bring business and the community even closer together, and what are your initiatives to create more jobs for Hamilton?
Okay, I want to be really clear. Businesses create jobs. Council's job is to ensure that there is business confidence to invest in the city. This is done by having business land available, having a supply of land available for housing, that enables an employment workforce to come into the city. Council's job is to have transport solutions and amenities that promote the livability of a city. These are the responsibilities of council that then enable business to create jobs. We are talking to our neighbours of Waipa and Waikato about expanding our boundaries to create land for business over the next 100 years. We have the budgets and we are opening up Peacock. The contracts are out. We have our free bus service, which is, I'm very proud that this council has put together. We have the train to Auckland, which will be run by this time next year. These are initiatives that build confidence in council. I want to make it really clear, when the bus is driving around empty, you might as well have people on it. The seat on the bus is free at the moment, let's fill them up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, Sleepyhead going to a Hemingway, we could perhaps learn something from that, and I'd really like to talk with them. But I suspect that what that's to do with is both employment, housing, transport and livability coming together, as is the key ingredient of shoulder tapping a business that's looking for somewhere to go. But research shows us that people don't just come to a city, any city, just because of the jobs. They come because they want a place where people can live, be educated, work and play, as I said before. And if we don't build a city like that, we miss the boat. I actually think the city is doing a pretty reasonable job within the financial restraints that we have. We've recently seen Rabobank arrive. When there is a quality of office or industrial space, excellent transport, excellent IT connectivity, and somewhere for families and workers to live, we will thrive. Saying that, we can always do better. I'd like to see our Smart Business Office initiative expanded to foster innovation, information sharing, concept development, problem solving, regular forums with the business, idea sharing, key stakeholders, not just for the mayor, but the 13 members, because there are 13 members that make the decisions that shape the city, not just one. And this has not been the case. I support the work of Tuaka, the Hamilton Central Business District Association, the Chamber, Hamilton Waikato, Tourism and others, working with them, telling our story, not just at home, but everywhere.
It's incredibly frustrating when we lose people like Sleepyhead who came to Hamilton first and APL who have shifted out of our city because farms can get rezoned at $10,000 a hectare when industrial land in Hamilton is $3 million a hectare. And when our neighbours have the right to rezone their land to accommodate factories to go there, it's very frustrating because we have been built out to our boundaries and we just don't have the land to do it. And this goes back to the question of amalgamation, it goes back to the question of dealing with our neighbours about expanding our boundaries.
When APL came to you, Andrew, as mayor, and they said, we want to set up in Hamilton, you said, I don't care where you go because your people are still going to live here.
When APL said there was no land available, the only land that was available was leasehold land and they wanted to buy outright. There was no land available for them. As they go on the other side of the boundary, then they go to Auckland.
As I've said, we've got to look at the overall package. It's not just the land and where they operate from, it's the whole package of livability that they're after. And this is where the Hamilton-Auckland corridor plan comes into its own. You sit on that, Mayor Andrew. We get occasional reports from that and we read those and catch up. We need to be more across the detail of how we run the Auckland-Hamilton corridor.
Sorry, I have to interject there. We don't get the occasional report. I think Andrew's done a very good job with staff to give us very, very regular.
Okay, James, on that positive note.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, look, small businesses, I've gone on before about how much they mean to Hamilton because of the people they employ. But look, we should be an enabler, not a finance-run council. And our new areas, our rototuners and flagstaffs and everything else that we're setting up have got businesses that are actually working in with those communities now. It's actually quite good. And those in those new development areas where you've got those local businesses, local businesses get involved in local issues. They sponsor local initiatives and schools and charities and everything else there. So I think we're doing pretty well there at the moment, and also events. But look, I'd like to work closer to see what small business want. I want to work with them to see what they actually want and see what we can do for them. And part of that is the having a tweet for the district. Right? But look, our strength is innovation here in the Waikato, in Hamilton, because we've got Innovation Park with dairy goat and sheep milk and everything. That's big, and that's getting huge around the world. It's a huge export, and we can continue there. I think the big thing we're missing out on here is tourism in Hamilton. We're working at the moment with a group called Haka. We've got a lot of local history here in the Waikato and in Hamilton and our rivers. We need to work more in there. We've got tourists going off to Rotorua. We've got more than what Rotorua's got. If tourists want to go and see steam and hot air, I'll open up the council chamber for them, they can come and listen to that. So apart from that, we have everything that Rotorua's got, we're just a little bit more organised.
And if I can comment on the tourism aspect, we've been told for over 3 years now that what Hamilton needs is a second or third strong attraction. We have the fabulous gardens, they're world class, they're international standard, and people come to see those. But they won't come to Hamilton for one reason, they need another reason, and we've known this for some time. So James is quite right, we've got cultural tourism, we've got the river plan, we've got to create more events, opportunities for people to come to Hamilton to add to the wonderful gardens experience.
Okay, we've given them a good hit out on prepared questions, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's over.
Give them double time.
Yeah, good. We get double time for my faux pas.
Look, private business is actually the driver of prosperity in Hamilton, as it is all around the world. I know I'm one of them. I started my engineering company 35 years ago, and I've had to adapt and innovate in that 35 years to be successful. To the extent that council performs its duties in an efficient, economic and cost-effective manner, then it can contribute to job growth and prosperity too. The private sector does need to know the boundaries of council's role, and council needs to know and accept that there must be limits to its own mandate. As powerful as they are, council only really has 3 tools. They are the legal right to levy and collect rates and development contributions, the use to which they put that money, otherwise known as spending, and regulation. As you'd expect, and if you've heard me previously, I'm not a fan of increasing the amounts of money that council takes from our ratepayers, and I'm not a fan of how they spend a lot of it at the moment. But I'm a fan of light-handed regulation that respects property rights and leaves ample space for innovation, growth and prosperity. Council needs to be very diligent in the delivery of its monopoly services. As a monopoly regulator, it has a huge responsibility to business that shouldn't be ignored. It's likely that if business has somewhere else to go, for planning and building consents, building inspections and compliance certification, it would be going there. Council could do better. The council doesn't have customers, the council has captives.
Let me move on now to take
No, can I have it too?
Oh, you pushed me.
Triple time.
Look, I'm actually going to answer the question that was originally asked. There were 2 parts to the question. How will we bring business and the community closer together? And the second, what are your initiatives to create more jobs? The first part, when I look through this room, I see Sky City, Momentum, Pan, Gallagher's, Chowhill, King Street. Council doesn't need to bring business and community together. It's already happening, and I support that, and I celebrate that, and I treasure that. In terms of creating jobs, actually one of my key platforms is getting on with building our visitor economy. Daily spend in New Zealand tourism is $107 million a day. We can get more of that pie. If we build the Waikato River Centre, which was part of the original river plan that I was on, we can start creating real jobs. We can have a tourism centre that is vibrant, that brings water taxis, that brings commercial businesses, restaurants and development. linking it with the gardens, the zoo. The zoo was my idea. It was a strategic plan that I was excited about, and staff got together and we put this forward. This is where new jobs and new economy and progress for everyone will occur. Thank you.
Just a point of note that it was myself and a few others who proposed the new jetty to create the infrastructure for that transportation along the river. And I also proposed to spend into the zoo and opening up of Lake Waiwhakariki with the support of my colleagues. Because I agree with Angela, the zoo and the river plan are fundamental to tourism.
Okay, before I move on and get told off, does anyone else want to have a question? We're good, okay, very good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're now over to your time in regard to questions. I'm told that the acoustics here is very good. So if you would like to put your hand up to ask a question, I've got 1 bidder, 2 bidder. So I'm getting the order in play here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got the 4 first starters. They often kick the bus right off. So it's to you.
Rather than the land.
Okay, Andrew, give it a
I'll start. I'm going to
course.
start that with the incredible hype that you say that goes with it. We own a lot, 80, I think, pensioner units in our city. We sold those pensioner units for $26 million under the last council, and I supported that. And looking back, it was just wrong. Those units they sold for around about half what they were worth because they had to stay in the social sector. Since then, they've doubled in price. So we gave them away for a quarter of what today's values would be for those units. With the $26 million that we got from those units, this council made a decision to set $2 million aside to set up a community land trust for those who work but can't pay. So there's plenty of people who are doing social housing for those who are at the bottom of the heap. But there are people out there who are working and they can pay their rents, but they'll never get into their own home. And we want those people, we want to take the land out of the equation with our $2 million seed money, with the other trusts in the Waikato to come in behind it, and the other councils to come in behind it, to grow this generation after generation over hundreds of years to become a very powerful land trust. They have these land trusts in the states and in the cities the size of Hamilton that own up to 8% of the land. And this is about putting people into homes. Now there is a social side to this. If they lose their job, they stay in the home. If they get old and retire, when they get old and retire, instead of having to go into a pensioner house, they stay in the house. So there is a social spin-off to this as well. So it's be a truck driver, it's be a nurse, it's be a single income families to get those people into homes. And I believe it's a fantastic idea and a fantastic use of $2 million out of that $26 million. It's seed money for something that we will never see the end of. This will grow generation in, generation out.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't on council when the social housing was sold, and I witnessed the selling of that for reasons before. However, we need to be mindful that local government has both a legal obligation and an ethical obligation to take care of social well-being of its people. And we have a real problem with home affordability. When the median house price last month was well over $580,000, we have no affordable homes. There was nothing sold under $300,000 to get into. We can't leave people behind. We have to do something. Is this the ideal solution? Probably not. Is it a start? Yes. So I did support it. I'm interested in the detail. Every time Andrew speaks, I hear a little bit more of the detail. We've yet to have more discussions about that. But remember, we've got willing investors and stakeholders alongside us with this initiative. We must provide homes for our most disadvantaged, as well as those who can afford homes.
Just to be really clear, council voted this through, it's gone through, we've seen the details, we've signed it off, we understand what we signed off, and it's not a CCO, it is now right outside of council's control, and there's an independent board that's been selected now to run the trust. So it's a done, delivered idea. It's not an idea anymore. This is actually a trust that has been formed.
Okay, Angel.
Yeah, look, it took me a long time to come around to the Community Lands Trust, just as reports and information came to us, and it was something new to Hamilton, certainly. But I have looked and researched models overseas, and it has been successful. Look, let's be honest, $2 million isn't going to go far, particularly when we're trying to find land in the city, for that price ticket. But it is a start. What I was most concerned about was whether this would really and truly deliver affordable housing, and more importantly, enable people like Habitat for Humanity to build really cohesive, good quality social housing, and it does. I do need to respond to the political rhetoric around council sold off the pensioner housing. It makes it sound like when it was sold it disappeared. It simply wasn't true. And now it's with a provider that provides an excellent level of service. It did pay off a considerable amount of city debt. And it also meant that not only older people could access that, but all vulnerable people. And we like to live in communities, I think, still in neighbourhoods. The other thing that it delivered was it meant instead of new tenants paying $127 a week, they paid $2 a week. So there was benefit right in the pockets of those people.
Okay, Mike.
Thanks very much. I think this is an issue where we need to differentiate between what the local body's role is and what the central government's role is. Really, to me, this housing land trust seems like very low value spending to get 6 to 8 homes for $2 million. And then also it brings in factors like eligibility criteria. So choose 6 to 8 people to get the first lottery. And what about if there's 1,000 people who then come along and qualify? Where do we draw the line? How do we keep funding it? I think it's high risk, low value.
Thank you for the question, Rob. Regarding the pensioner housing, that was before my time, obviously. I think I was off watching probably the V8 in Hamilton at the time. But look, we're the fourth most unaffordable city for housing in New Zealand at the moment. We do have a problem. And I did vote for it. It is seed money, it's $2 million, and we are relying on other councils, telling a district council to make it grow. Now, from what I believe is, that land does not have to be in Hamilton. Would that be correct? Yeah, so it can be anywhere in the Waikato. So if we can get cheaper land in Narrawahia, Huntly, or Morris, or anywhere else, that's where the housing will go. Because obviously, sections here in Hamilton, I think for a 400 square metre section in Rota 2 now, I think you're paying around $500,000 at the moment, which is just crazy money. You'd get probably 4 sections in Christchurch for that at the moment.
Okay, we'll go to James first.
I think anybody here would probably be a fool to say I guarantee that I'll get that done. A little bit like that billboard in Tauranga that I put up. I can't promise anything, but I'll do my best. But look, I don't think we can actually promise anything like that. We've got our roading engineers there. We can certainly look at different initiatives or different ways of doing it. But to stand here right now to say I guarantee that we'll divert that, I think I can't say at the moment.
Okay, Mike.
Look, I'm uninformed on this particular subject, so I can look at a fool, I won't answer.
Okay, Angel.
Yeah, look, it's very difficult. I spend a lot of time out with Margaret and Murray and Vanessa out at that park, and it is a beautiful, beautiful part of our city. They understand that it's a legislatively driven process. They understand the freight train that is coming for them. The government's also, in terms of those special ecological areas, the government has challenged councils to lift their performance and to bring all of our areas up to 10%. So we are challenged with that. But when it comes to Shoresburg Park, the frustration for them is the lack of information. Now, they understood that way back then, they possibly should have dug their heels in. But, council's a big beast. It is the Goliath in the picture. And they didn't quite know what was coming. They do now. So, no, I can't guarantee it. And I've spoken to Margaret and Murray about that if I'm elected mayor, I can't guarantee it either. But what I can guarantee is that all of their questions will be answered. that they will have all of the information explained to them succinctly, why the road is proposed to where it goes and what ruled out other locations. They will also have what I can guarantee under me, if I'm elected as Mayor on Saturday, is as much of that bird park preserved as possible. And I know that staff want to do that, but again, the Shores don't have that guarantee and don't have that information.
Okay, Paula.
Oh, thank you. I was actually with them last night at their home, which was the second visit that I attended. I attended one recently with Angela and Tim McIndoe, and we looked at what their needs were. And since that time, I was able to supply them with the full report, the full decision report that we had a very good look at yesterday. We haven't been over every detail. I do have sympathy for them because they put their life's passion into that wonderful natural area. But I also understand the machine that happened behind the designation of the road. My promise to them is very similar to Angela's. I supplied them the report. I'm happy to bring staff there after the election to sit with them, to work through the detail of the report and try and find some win-win so that the ecological values of that special area are maintained. And look, I'm known to be a champion of the environment and biodiversity. So that's as much as I can promise.
Do you know the information that they were given was a folder this thick with hundreds of pages of technical documents?
It was, but until then they hadn't been given it. They've been asking for it and asking for it. They've been sent a link. I asked staff to put it on the step. I asked staff to courier them the hard copy document, and that happened.
No, my answer is no. I've met with the Shores. They're lovely people. They're a strong business family. They understand business, and they're a big business family. This process has been running for over 10 years. They signed off to agree to the road going through their bird park. It only goes through the corner of their bird park, not the whole bird park. So it takes one corner out. And as I say, it's a long-term process that they have been fed the information and given the information all the way through the process. I'm not sure what's going on, whether this is a form of negotiation or just what's happening, but they aren't losing the bird park. They're losing a small corner of it, which they signed off and agreed to with conditions where we had to put the land back around it that we disturbed in better condition than what it is, and as the same or better condition as it is now.
And I'm not promising what I can't deliver, but I can tell you that the printed document that Angela refers to is the first time they've seen the whole document. Have you ticked that off? I have a policy up on my website that's been there for over 5 months, in which I would like to co-design with the youth sector the right way of engaging with them. I was unhappy with the disestablishment of the Youth Council, but I accept that the Youth Council was probably not operating as efficiently and effectively as it could have been. Now we have fabulous groups. We have SEED in there also, we have ZEAL, we have H-Town, we have a whole raft of youth organisations. I don't want to tell them what the structure and process should be for us to join up. I want them to co-design it with me, and I've made that clear. Thank you for your question.
We had a very good start actually on this campaign trail at Rotuna Junior High School. They invited us along. We had a really good candidates meeting there, and it was three different groups of senior high school students that came through to listen to us. They came in, listened to all of us, and then left. And the next group came in. And it was actually really good. We had a lot of interaction with them. We had a lot of questions from them, and it's a way for them to build up interest in local politics because not many people know who their local politicians are, and that's a really good way of getting in there if you get in with the youth at the junior high school level, or the senior high school level. And we can also have, one of the things is regular councillor suburb meets as well, where we actually go out to the community instead of us being stuck in the council chamber here all the time. Go out and actually meet the community and actually go out and talk to them and hopefully get some engagement with the youth.
Angela.
Yeah, excellent question. Thanks, Ryan. When I arrived on council in 2007, there were no schools that visited council, no students that came in and spoke to the mayor and talked to the councillors and were part of it. So way back then I developed a program called Adopt a Councillor. And unfortunately none of my colleagues at the time were interested, so I was the only councillor that got adopted out, and I adopted myself out to Whitiora School and spent 4 years with the Deputy Mayor there working, bringing those students in and getting them involved in civic. And they met the mayor, and we had a mock debate in the chamber, and it was really exciting. A couple of the other things that I'll do, I announced when I also started, there was a youth council, and they were fantastic, and I have watched those young people move into some incredible jobs. One of them I'm very proud of, Jason, works at Red Cross, and when I see him on the street, he always gives me a big hug. I feel very proud of that. Getting civic education into schools is vital, but that needs to be a conversation with the Ministry of Education. I am absolutely determined to do that. Ryan, I know I've come to your school and I take any opportunity to get in front of the young people, because you know what? They will hold you to account. So those are a couple of the ideas that I would like to do if connected with you.
I think in general, a lot of young people find this sort of arena quite boring. I can understand why, to be honest with you. I've got a couple of grown-up boys of my own, and they chose not to come tonight, but they'll want to ask a lot of questions about it, and they'll want to find out what went on and what was being said. Also, there's a lot more young people getting involved than we probably give them credit for. Down the back there, Matt Shea, Matt Small, they're both running for council. And guys in their 20s, we've had Louise Hutt on the stage a few times as well. I just think that some young people are interested in it, and some aren't. And those that are, let's embrace them.
Can I just add that I think there's two parts to it. There is us going out as community evangelists, and I've done that for 18 years through various schools and other programs at regional council. But you're right, Mike, it's also about getting youth onto council. So it's a two-way street, having their voice within the chamber and also finding a conduit outside of the chamber.
Are you happy with that run? Okay. Oh, sorry, this lady here first, and then you're next here.
I haven't been given it, I just wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Yeah, for sure.
Hamilton is very slowly moving on from the old cliches of being a chlamydia-ridden cowtown on the way to somewhere else. What would your council do to speed up that change in perception of the city in terms of reputation around once and for all?
Okay, we'll start with the sentence, Mike. Oh. You forget the chlamydia. We'll just get straight to the question.
Hamilton is very slowly moving on from the old cliches about being a chlamydia-infested cowtown. So it's a pit stop on the route to somewhere else. What would your council do to speed up the change in perceptions of the city and turn have a reputation around something for?
Well, what she's saying is, how can I just cut to the chase on the question and leave the chlamydia out? The question really goes to what are you going to do to enhance Hamilton's reputation? Well, I suspect as a destination, but also as a place to live and to be proud of.
I don't have a problem with in the front of a few jokes. I've got a good sense of humour, but I used to find that people used to joke about Hamilton being the chlamydia centre and various other things, but there were often busloads of young Aucklanders that had come down to party up and so I don't really know what they were going on about. I think Hamilton is a place where we can all be proud of it. And we don't need to worry about what other people are saying about us, because they're coming here to live, so they must see something good about the place.
Yeah, look, I echo what Mike said, and in terms of that particular inflection, I think he moved somewhere to one of the regions recently. Look, our city is full of amazing, incredible, innovative, clever and creative people and businesses, but we just quietly go about being brilliant. So as Mayor, I'm happy to champion that, and I will be a champion for it. Look, I'm really proud of the people that live in the city. I've been here 32 years, and I'm proud of our city. But you do need a mayor you can be proud of. I think one of the things that has contributed to it, certainly my experience on council, to some of the bad reputation actually is some of the behaviour that's occurred over the years, and it's because we've mostly had a divisive council. I've always been in either an A or a B team, and neither is very comfortable. So certainly if I'm elected as mayor, I recognise and respect that every single one of those people that will be elected on the 12th of October on Saturday is chosen by you. I will respect that, I will value those people, and I will make sure they are all part of the one team.
I was brought up in Hamilton. I'm very proud of the city. And I always will be proud of the city. I trust the people in the city. I'm not worried what the rest of the city, no, what the rest of the country thinks. We are an inland city. We are a proud city. We are a proud people. We are very successful. I love this city. I love Hamilton.
Thank you. Not to be totally boring, I love the city too, and I lived here for 40 years with my family, some of whom are here today. Thank you for the support. I believe in people telling their own stories. There are fabulous things going on in Hamilton, and where we shine and have success, our stories do get told. We are so well known for our Hamilton Gardens. You can travel overseas and you can hear people singing the praises of our Hamilton Gardens. The Hamilton Gardens Arts Festival, you can hear people talking about that. And the Sevens last year, the year before, just created success stories of their own. So it's creating things to share and be successful about. Yes, 7 days takes a stick to us now and then. I saw one show where she was completely roasted. That's their style. Once upon a time it was in Invercargill, now it's Hamilton. We'll move on for that within time, I believe, because we have so much going on and people will see us go from strength to strength, and we should be unashamedly positive about that.
Chlamydia, it's an interesting subject, but look, we did hold that title once, that onerous title. We did lose that to Gisborne. Now Gisborne got that to Wellington. So the title holder now is Wellington, and they can keep it. When I first came here in 1992, one of the biggest attractions here when I came in 1992 was the lights at the Mormon Temple. That was really about it. But you look how far we've come from there. And I don't mind a few jokes in 7 days, I think it's fine. You have to laugh at yourself. And as long as it's within reason. But look, we've got, like I said before, we've got world-class stadium here. We've got FMB Stadium, and like Paul said for the Sevens, it's fantastic. There's a lot of people here. We've got our gardens, absolutely fantastic, and they're growing, and they're going to keep growing. We've got Seddon Park, who invites international tennis matches here and from different countries, and a whole lot of supporters from around the world. And we've got Portland's, and one day in the future we may even have a theatre. So, we have got things going. We are growing. In 1992, the population in Hamilton was 88,000 people when I came here. It's 170,000 now. We are growing, and we've got a lot of things for other cities to be envious of.
John, I'm not sure if I said 7 sharp or 7 days, but I meant 7 days, and Andrew actually did quite a good job with the yes/no questions.
Okay, we'll take 2 last questions. You in the blue is the right, second from the back, and then you. Okay, we'll start from where we ended, James. So we'll work our way back.
A lot of kids can't even tidy up their own room, so they're not going to pick up stuff in the street. It's pretty hard to do. Most parents can't even make them pick their own room. But we have to work closely, I think, with our fast food outlets. If you go up to Rototuna, most of the rubbish you see on the street around Thomas and Washington Downs Road and everything around there is from our local takeaways. We need to actually install on people that they have to deal with the rubbish a little bit better. But as in trying to make kids pick up their rubbish, that's going to start at home and hopefully continue through school.
Thank you. I don't have an office other than at home, and often has the ironing board up. What can I say? So I do get out to cafes and talk to people there, and I have been talking to people. That whole litter issue has come up a number of times. What people need is some way to make it easy for them to dispose of their litter. And so that's having the bins in the right places and the right opportunities for recycling. One of the things I'm quite hot on, and I will give credit to Councillor Ziggy Henry for that, is waste at events. We need to focus on getting people to understand how to recycle waste at events. And I was at the home show on the weekend and I peeked in the recycling bins and they were all mixed waste. We've got to make better progress in getting people to understand and make it easy for them to put the right things in the right bins at the right place
the right time.
Thank you. Some of the rubbish that's on the street will be out of the black rubbish bag system that have them in, where cats and dogs will open them up at night and get blown out. But I know that's probably not what you're referring to, but we do have a new proper recycling service coming by mid next year, where everything will be in a container. And I'm just sort of playing for the environment on this, but also part of that is taking out the food waste and putting that in a bin, making compost, because that's what causes methane gas in our landfills. But when I learnt about picking up rubbish, and I specifically remember it was at primary school, and we were taught at school not to litter out of the car, not to litter, to hold your rubbish with you, to put it in the bin. And I don't know whether it's a lack of respect from young people now, or whether they're not getting trained from the schools anymore. I'm unsure. But the one thing that I do see when I'm out is at times I've seen people going for walks with a rubbish bag, and actually as they walk over a bit of rubbish, picking it up and collecting rubbish on their journey, on their walk that they're using, obviously to keep fit or just to keep their city clean and tidy. The other thing is this: if the rubbish issue becomes too big, so it's dump rubbish or a bigger issue, council will go out and pick that up. But of course, we prefer not to, because that all, in the end, compounds back onto the ratepayer. So I hear your frustration. I just don't know the answer.
I guess some litter bugs are always going to litter, but we can make it much better and we can improve it. I coined the phrase some years ago: people will treat it how we keep it. And I launched an idea on my campaign called Suburban Business Hub Plan, because I've seen the inequality in how the levels of service and how council maintains and treats our older suburbs with our newer ones. So the Suburban Business Hub Plan will look at that. We'll look at street furniture and maintenance and landscaping and trees and better rubbish bins to make it easier for people. I think also we actually, in terms of practical things, while we can't manage stupid and we can't manage people who are going to litter, we can increase those people that run around on the motorbikes with a little steady foot and pick things up. Those core services are really, really important, and we need to focus a lot more attention on those things, and my Suburban Business Hub Plan will do that.
Well, I guess I learned a lot of litter from my mum and dad, and my wife and I, we've taught our kids the same thing. And looking around this room, I would suspect that you've all had the same lesson as well, and probably taught your kids the same thing too. We're not going to stop anybody from littering. Like, we're not going to stop anybody from committing crimes. Maybe let's just pick up litter when we see it. Let's put it somewhere. I mean, it's not even about having bins close by, because I've seen litter within 5 metres of a bin. It didn't go in the bin first of all, then come out again. It just got put on the ground 5 metres away from the bin. So it's going to happen, and I don't think that there's a viable way to properly enforce that. We've got trouble enforcing a lot more serious crimes than littering these days. So leave it up to you guys to decide.
What I'm going to try and do, thank you for that contribution. What I'm going to try and do is just distill that into 3 threads that I could try and pick out of that. I regret if I don't hit the target as well as I should. One is the power of City Hall against the rights of a ratepayer, using their own chequebook against them. That seems to be coming through. Point 1. Point 2, a perception, if not a reality, that City Hall and your senior bureaucrats can be arrogant. Whether that's true or not, I'm just putting that thread in because that seems to be an expression. And the third thread is to what extent are you, as mayoral candidates, able to arrest either the reality of that or the perception?
I'm happy to go first. The front page of my flyer and all of my campaign material says Trust Angela. I've watched trust be eroded with certain decisions around the council table over the last few years, and in fact a survey that residents told us that confidence in council decisions this term has dropped by almost 50%. That's actually the issue that we need to be grappling with. Look, democracy shouldn't be done to you. I understand that as an elected member, I'm here to represent what you want, what matters to you and what's important to you. Sure, sometimes I have a little bit more information, but it's also my responsibility as an elected member to bring democracy to you, to find where you are. It's not good enough how we consult simply by sending out letters. Certainly we have had a couple of staff members join us recently that are doing a superb job with engagement. But I've seen it fail, and I think Shores is certainly an example of that. I will rebuild trust in council if I'm elected as mayor. I will stop financial jargon. I will put in a plain English policy. I will make sure that elected members and the mayor is held accountable, because if you don't know what's going on, you simply cannot hold us to account. And real transparency is the number one thing that will rebuild trust.
Okay,
I'm not fully conversant with the way the whole process works in council, but I did hear recently that the CEO bears the agenda for the meetings, sends out 500-page reports a few days before. Is that correct?
It's not, yeah, I have to correct this. It's actually not, the CEO doesn't dictate to council or elected members. The CEO is there to impart decisions made by council. He has no authority to do anything other than that. The CEO holds the agenda once it's printed, prior to it being printed, but the mayor and the councillors and the chairs of committees set the agenda. They will put items on the agenda and they will pull items off it.
well, there you go. Might be a good chance.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Richard's our only employee as councillors and a mayor. The CEO is the only employee of the councillors. He employs everybody else around council. Look, you are somewhat correct with the submission process. You know, there's a few things that have gone out to the public with submissions, and the majority of council haven't listened to you. You know, and that's the Central City Park that was bought for $3 million over its value. You know, that got through. You ever voted against that? There was Garden Place. Now, Garden Place was up for a $3 million renewal, I think it was. That got defeated only just, and nobody wanted that. The new theatre in town, believe it or not, actually the majority of submitters were against the new theatre where it was going. But that's got through as well. So there are a few things that do get through. It depends who you have on council and which way they vote. So that's why you have to be careful who you vote for.
Okay, Paula.
Thank you. Well, it's clear that public participation and community engagement are cornerstones of proper democracy, and I think we can do better there. The reason that the chief executive was questioned on that program last night, or a few days ago when it came up last night, is because it's elections and because there has to be fairness and equity. So certainly I was never approached for comment, because I think if they'd approached me, then they'd had to approach all elected members to be quite fair in the election process. So that's why he spoke then. But I'm a strong believer in improving the community-led development, improving public participation, which is why I focused my personal development over the last 3 years on an international standard qualification in that area. The mayor is one decision maker, and any mayor who stands up here and promises to do things on their own is dreaming. All they can do is provide the platform for sound governance. Sound governance means robust questioning. And I have to say, one thing I feel quite strongly about is we can do better than the 5-minute public forums that we presently have, where the public come very nervous and stand in front of council chambers, bell goes ding at the end and they're asked to go, and quite often we don't even get any time for questions. That is wrong. We've got to do better with the way we allow the public to speak with us.
The rules of democracy for local government are laid out in the Local Government Act, and it's very clear. And if we get it wrong, we can be challenged, and it can be very expensive and very embarrassing. So we don't get it wrong. When we do go out for proper submission, we follow the process. We get the submissions back in. In this case, it's been before a hearings panel, independent of the council, who made the decisions. There was outcomes set in documents that lay out exactly what would happen. There was a sign-off for this piece of land. This is 10 years ago, or about 10 years ago. And the council made the decision. Now it's the chief executive's job to see that decision through, because that's his job to start. If every time decisions are made and they're done properly and done carefully, they're done according to the Local Government Act, and then at the 11th hour, after millions of dollars of consultation which has gone into this process have been set, and it gets challenged as the contracts are going out, and as the process is going through for compulsory acquisition, for what is a fantastic outcome for our city. There's over 100,000 trees going into the gullies in that area. There's a huge amount of care and work going into cycleways, into different systems for this carefully planned subdivision, which is being planned today. It wasn't planned 10 years ago. It was set up 10 years ago, but the finer planning and the cycleways and the gully walks and things like that being done now. So I understand that there's a higher level of emotion around this, but the process has been followed properly. And to change that process now will take years and millions of dollars of ratepaying money.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen,
They will be compensated properly according to valuations.
okay, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the closing statements of each one of the candidates. The better's order will be like this. Mike, please first, just to prepare yourselves. It's a minute. You've got a minute now in which to. I've never seen a mayoral contest come down to single digits, right? In Auckland, it's thousands. So, anyway, here it's very tightly contested, and I think it's an outstanding tribute to those that do turn out and vote. And I don't give a toss about the turnout numbers. If you're invested enough in your city and your democracy, you turn out. So Mike will kick off, James will be next, Angela, Paula and Andrew in that order. The cowbell is working. Thank you.
During my campaign, I started off by referring to the council as the machine. A big organisation, 1,000 plus staff, forms quite a few pretty important roles in our city. The question that I ask is how far does it go, how big should it get and how quickly? And I've also spent some time talking about the team, and the team is the 13 people that the voters will elect. And the team is the, in amongst that 1,000 people, the team is the only thing that will put controls and limitations in place to keep that machine affordable and under control. So it's pretty important for you to elect the right team. One mayor, and these people, will be the captain of the team, and 12 players, and they all need to be on the same page so that it works properly and harmoniously. They need to know who they represent, they need to know what their priorities are, they need to know where the money comes from. Thank you, I'm Mike West.
Thank you. Look, all of us up here have our own strengths and our own weaknesses, you know, and nobody here has stood up here to think, how can we start the city up today? We actually do love the city, all of us. We want to do our best for us. Over my 25 years in the police, I sweat a lot of sweat and tears, policing the streets of Hamilton from 1992 to 2012. And during my 3-year term as a councillor, there's plenty of sweat, a few tears, but no blood, which is good. But look, I want to continue on what we're doing at the moment. I want to actually go back to a little bit more of a back to basics policy where we're paying for what you want us to do. Your water, your rubbish collected, your streets looked after, and all the infrastructure and everything else in our stadium. We have to go back to basics because we've got enough programs in place at the moment to last us a few years. We do not need any more frivolous spending. Thank you.
isn't about asking people to follow you. It's about inspiring people to follow you. So I'm going to take the last 50 seconds to thank the people that I have inspired who have followed me. And that's my team. They're not all here tonight, but most of them are, and they're wearing their t-shirts. They have been with me this entire 9-month campaign. They have challenged me. They have. They have supported me. They have sat through 32 of these with me. They have fed me. They have protected me. They have lifted me up. So to each and every single one of you, I think there's about 40 or 50 of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. For over 18 years, I've passionately and dedicatedly represented you, Hamilton, at our local, regional and national level. You've supported me for 18 years, and I'm asking for your support as I stand only for Mayor for 3 more years. I'm offering my experience, my passion, my commitment to lead Hamilton forward. I stand for strong finances, for getting growth right, for fairness, for creating opportunities for everyone to thrive. I stand for quality lifestyles. At election times, mayoral candidates will make promises, but no mayor can deliver these alone. We need to balance competing interests with different ideas. I've always worked alongside you in community, business and in government. I'm asking for your support for a further 3 years to do so. Thank you everyone for coming out, and thank you for all your support throughout this very long and tiring at times campaign. Thank you immensely.
It's Andrew.
My council has delivered a library, sports field and town centre in the northeast, promised for 20 years, delivered. Peacock subdivision, promised for 30 years, delivered. CBD turned around to face the river, talked about Heather. Cedar City River Park opened and lands held for expansion, delivered. A train from Hamilton to Auckland, promised steam engines, delivered. Free buses for our disability community and our under 18s on non-school days, delivered. Community Land Trust to assist people into home ownership, delivered. $250 million of central government investment into Hamilton that doesn't have to be paid back, delivered. Strong finances while keeping our rates in the bottom third of residential rates in New Zealand, delivered. The council I lead will continue to deliver for Hamilton. Grow Hamilton, love Hamilton, but Andrew King for Mayor.
I'm sure the candidates will make themselves available for questions that you might have had a burning desire to ask but weren't able to. So just as we come to the final to thank them, as I said in my opening commentary, they are brave, they are courageous. Whether they like it or not, their long-suffering wives, husbands get dragged along with them, plus the kids. This is a huge sacrifice that all 5 have exposed them to and their families. So on behalf of Hamiltonians, I wanted to say also, it was an outstanding exhibition of talent on display here tonight. And you're blessed and you're very lucky, given what I've had to contend with in Auckland. So I would ask you to give it up for them. They've been outstanding. Commerce, Chris, I just want to acknowledge all the hard work that you put into actually call this debate, the way the systemic work, the Slido, which can be open to be rorted. I've practiced that myself. And all the rest of it. So I just wanted to say to the candidates up here today that is a moment in time. Get out there and hunt down those votes, because if the last guy won by 6, there's still a hell of a lot of gamesmanship. I want to acknowledge my former colleague from the Labour Party. He's still allowed to be a member. Martin Gallagher. Thank you very much, Martin. And so we had a great time for 6 years together, and we learned a lot, skinned our hearts, skinned our knees. So anyway, to the rest of you Hamiltonians, have a great evening, reflect deeply, get the votes out, The way it works up and down this country in local government is the biggest vote is European 45 and up. Okay, it's as simple as that. The next biggest cohort up and down the country are our great and productive peoples from the subcontinent of India, regardless of where they gestated to and arrived here for. So they're outstandingly well organised, very productive, and that's what happens. For me in West Auckland, the third cohort was the Dalits. So I just want to acknowledge, I'll acknowledge everyone's name that ends with an itch. So just once again, to give it up to you, I wish you all the best, Andrew. When you're the piggy in the middle and everyone's having a go, it's tough, and I acknowledge that because Phil is suffering that with 19 others, and so good luck and God bless to all of you. Good luck and God bless to the rest of you, and finally to your Chamber of Commerce being led by an outstanding CEO, and that's one of the reasons why myself, one of my campaign managers, along with Michelle Bowe, would have thought I'd get together, Matt McCartan, and my team are here as well. So thanks very much for allowing an imposter from north of the Bombays to come down here and moderate on your behalf this evening. Kia ora.